About 7 years ago, my daughter was 2. I pretty suddenly started having some very severe pain. It was kind of nerve pain. It kind of shot over my head and moved around. And really, there weren't really any reasons why. I mean, there's nerve damage, there's bulging discs, but there was no real actual medical diagnosis or anything that they could really do about it. And at this point, I had already given up my job in the classroom, which is something that I absolutely loved. I taught for 16 years. And it wasn't long after that I decided to attend the women's retreat with our church, and I was really nervous. I didn't know all that many women that well at the time. It was incredible. It was an amazing time. And I went to the services, and throughout Friday night and Saturday, the pastor had been just kind of really calling people out, saying there's someone here who has XYZ, and I want to pray for them. And so people were literally coming up, and I had never seen anything like this. I'd only seen it really on TV. And so for me, I was like, this is weird, and I don't know about this. I was standing out in the back. I didn't want to interrupt by coming back in, and actually Hannah came out. And she said, Reese's calling you up there. And I was like, no, she's not. And she's like, yeah, she is. She's calling up. She said, there's someone here who has migraines. And migraines were one of the things that I suffered with. And I just kind of stood there, and then she just looked me straight in the face. And I don't think this is something I had ever voiced to anyone, but she said she feels like a bad mom because of them. And I just knew, and I stood there, I was like, I'm not going up there. I don't know this lady. I don't know about all this, and I'm not going up there. Reese prayed over me, and I just remember standing there going, I'm not hurting, and this is really weird. So since then, God has just really moved in incredible ways, and I know that was really Him setting me up for things that He was doing. And so since then, I was able to then step into ministry role here that I wasn't or didn't feel that I could do before that because I was just in so much pain all the time. I signed up for this breakout session for teachers and preachers. Breakout session, she had before handed out scriptures to people. And so towards the end, she said, okay, now you're going to come up and you're going to read the scripture and you're going to preach for 2 minutes. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not a preacher. I'm not going to preach for 2 minutes, but okay. And then I'm standing there and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I am. And I just remember thinking, God, you're going to have to tell me what to say because I really have no clue. So I picked up my Bible and I literally walked out and went and sat somewhere in the woods for an hour, and I still wasn't fully processing. It was amazing, but it was scary, and I didn't really understand. And, I thought, preach, that means you're going to be at the pulpit. And I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And the scripture was about how when you surrender, the peace that you get, and also that trials will still come. 4 days after I got home, our family had some really severe threats due to my husband's line of work. Just crazy things that I would never expect to have to go through. And I think the biggest thing that I realized is that since that first surrender is that I just surrendered my job and I surrendered everything. And now God was asking me to surrender my family. And it's the hardest thing, just to surrender my only child and my husband. And it wasn't like there was a moment when I said, okay, God, I give them to you. It was just this peace that I had. And in the midst of everything, not that there haven't been moments that were hard or even weeks that were hard. It's just been this really crazy, incredible peace that I can't really explain. When our family decided to go hard after God and to really follow what He was calling us to do, Satan's really come hard after our family. That no matter what happens, He's going to give us the peace and the grace to get through it. And so I think as long as we, as Christians, continue surrendering, He will give us that peace.